This video is a high-level overview of the decentralized exchange that the Permissionless Software Foundation is building. So I'm not going to get into any technical specifics here. This is just to explain the very high-level concepts. So first of all, basically focusing on what does it do and how does it work. So first of all, let me start. DEX means decentralized exchange, and this is different from a CEX or a CEX, a centralized exchange. Like Coinbase is an example of a centralized exchange. Kraken, all the big popular exchanges that you think of are decentralized exchange. Examples of decentralized exchanges are like SushiSwap. A lot of the stuff happening on Ethereum are decentralized exchanges. Also on Avalanche, you have Pangolin and Trader Joe. Those are decentralized exchanges on the Avalanche chain. Bitcoin Cash has no decentralized exchanges. They do on the Smart BCH sidechain, but this will be the first decentralized exchange on the Bitcoin Cash mainnet. But also we're building on other blockchains. So the Permissionless Software Foundation, the PSF, we have been given grants by Ava Labs and the eCash GNC, and to build to basically fork the DEX and build it on the Avalanche and the eCash chains. Also, the Bitcoin Cash community funded us to build a new token indexer, and as part of that we are also using those funds to build the DEX on the Bitcoin Cash chain. So we're primarily focused on Bitcoin Cash, mostly just because that's our expertise and it's easier to reason about and build it, and then we are pushing that software out to the Avalanche and eCash chains and customizing it for those chains, and then we'll build bridges to allow tokens and value to move across those chains so they can be traded freely on those blockchains and move across those blockchains freely. So let me introduce several really high-level concepts, because every DEX out there works differently, like not even subtly differently, like significantly differently from one another. So just understanding a basic idea of how it works beyond just the fact that it's a DEX is important. And this DEX is going to be quite a bit different than other DEXs, say, on the Ethereum chain. So trading is between the base currency and the tokens on that chain. So in Bitcoin Cash, it's between Bitcoin Cash and the SLP tokens. In Avalanche, we are focused on the X chain, so it's between the Avalanche base currency and the tokens on the X chain, and you can move tokens across their X and P and C chains. On eCash, they also implement the SLP token specification just like Bitcoin Cash does. So again, it's between eCash and the tokens on that chain. There's no way to buy anything with fiat or credit card. So that's really important to understand right out of the gate. This is just a crypto thing. We're not concerned. There's never going to be any consideration of fiat or credit cards. Someone in the future might build some sort of gateway that works that way, but that is in no way anything a consideration of this project. So another important idea here is, once you get started, if you want to get started and play with it right away, and I'll show a prototype here in a minute. You need to start with some amount of the base currency. So in the case of Bitcoin Cash, you need to have a few cents of Bitcoin Cash to pay transaction fees. If all you have are tokens, you can't just start with tokens. So you have to have, which is unfortunate. It would be nice if someone could just send you a token and then you could just buy Bitcoin Cash, trade it for Bitcoin Cash that way. It can't work that way, unfortunately, because you need to have some amount of the base currency to pay the transaction fees. Again, more high-level concepts. There is no .com website like Coinbase.com or SideShift AI. There won't be some like .com or .cash website that you go to interact with this. It's an app that runs entirely on your computer. So you're trading peer-to-peer. Everyone who is involved in the trading is just running the software on their computer. There's no reliance or dependency on a third party or an intermediary. And just to emphasize, this is a protocol and not a platform. That's actually a hashtag that I hope to see grow as a meme, is protocols not platforms, or protocols are greater than platforms. So this is a protocol in the sense that TCP IP is a protocol, or Bitcoin is a protocol, or email is a protocol. Those are just a set of steps that allow two computers to talk to one another. It's not a platform like Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. Those are platforms that are run by some central company and can revoke your access to them. Protocols have no central authority. So no one can ban you from using email. Gmail is a platform and they can ban you from their platform, but you can always spin up an email server on your own computer. So understanding the difference between protocols and platforms is really key to understanding how this works and why it works the way it works. Also, really good concepts to understand. All trades are final. There's no way to reverse the trades. There's no tech support to call, and there's no authority to appeal to. And I'll get a little bit more deeper into the mechanics here, but these are really important concepts to understand. If you click the button and that trade goes through, you can't stop it, and you can't reverse it, and you don't even know who the other person is, and most importantly, there is no intermediary or authority to ask for help. So keep that in mind, because this can lead to a lot of trouble. It can also lead to a lot of sovereignty. So let me talk a minute about legal compliance, because that's going to be a big question on a lot of people's minds. And a lot of people aren't going to like the answers to those questions, but this is what it is. So like Bitcoin itself, the trading does not take laws into consideration. This is really an extension of the Bitcoin protocol. So like Bitcoin and like the internet, the protocol is inherently international. So if your local jurisdiction has laws against trading or using cryptocurrencies, you need to understand what they are, because this protocol does not respect them, is not aware of them, and so there's no one that's going to tell you, hey, you can't do that, because the law where you're geographically located says X. This is, like I said, it's just a protocol. It works just like Bitcoin or the internet. Laws are not taken into consideration. The only identity is the cryptocurrency address of the parties involved. There's no KYC, there's no government ID. Again, it's just like Bitcoin, it's pseudo-anonymous. So you generate a Bitcoin Cash address or an Avalanche address or an eCash address. That is your identity, and that is your only identity. And as a result, there's no way to know where in the world the other party is located, because the network doesn't take geographic location into consideration. So if they're in Russia, or if they're in North Korea, or if they're in Canada, or if they're in Mexico, there's just no way to know, because it's just a Bitcoin or it's just an address, a crypto address on the network, and geographic location is not taken into consideration by the base protocol. Okay, so let's get into some of the ideas of how this works. There are makers and there are takers, and so there's only two parties involved. Again, there's no intermediary, so it's peer-to-peer. There's only two parties involved. So makers make offers, and takers take those offers by creating a counter offer. And an offer can be either a buy or a sell. So you can sell tokens for Bitcoin Cash, or you can buy tokens for Bitcoin Cash. And so it's important. So makers make both buy and sell. So there's two types of orders, or two types of offers, and there's two types of actors. And to begin with, there's only going to be sell orders, but we'll add buy orders later. So right now, as the prototype that we have developed, you can create a token and you can put that token up for sale. What you can't do yet is put up an offer to buy a certain amount of tokens. So we'll add that later. So at first, everything's going to be sold in. Before I dive into this, let me just show you what it looks like. This is an early prototype. So this is totally, even though this is a web browser, this is actually running on my computers, and you can tell that by this URL. I'm localhost port 4500. So I'm not actually going out to the internet and looking at this. All the software here is on my computer, and this is the order list, and it's just a table, kind of like a spreadsheet. And there's 2 orders that exist right now. Both are for trout tokens. There's a link to go check them out. The stuff on the right here is what I want to draw your attention to. So this order is for 1 token. This offer is for 3 tokens, and they're being sold for 5,000 satoshis each. So the total of this trade is 5,000 satoshis, and the trade for this is 15,000 satoshis for 3 tokens. And then this is the calculated value based on the spot price of Bitcoin Cash. So this would be about 2 cents, and this would be about 5 cents. And so if I wanted to take this order, I would click this take button, and then my app would take the other side of this order or this offer by generating a counter offer. So going back to this again, these are both those were both sell orders. So those are implemented now. The buy orders will be implemented later. And everything's sold in lots. So if I was to take this, I would have to buy all 3 tokens. I couldn't just buy 2 tokens. Or if I took this, it would just be the 1 token. I couldn't ask for half a token or 2 tokens. So right now everything's sold in lots, but eventually partial trades will be possible. So in the future, it would be possible to hit the take button and specify I only want to buy 2 of these 3 tokens. So buy orders and then partial trades. Those are both features that will be developed later. Right now it's just sell orders and buying in whole lots, or selling in whole lots. So some other important concepts here. The trading protocol is trustless and atomic. So trustless means neither party needs to trust the other party. The maker gets to review the counteroffer before they broadcast the final transaction, and the maker cannot alter the counteroffer after the taker has signed it. And of course, the taker's creating the counteroffer. So basically, the point here is that neither party can screw over the other party. There's no opportunity to manipulate the transaction in a way that one party can game the other party. So that's what it means by trustless. There's no need for trust here. This is why you can trade with someone across the world, because you don't need to trust them. And they're also atomic, and what that means is the trade happens in one single transaction. There's no middle state where the trade can get stuck. It either happens or it doesn't. So the state is binary and atomic. So it's one and done. And it's important to understand there's just no middle state where it can get stuck. So it either happens or it doesn't. The money either exchanges hands or it hasn't. So that's pretty much the high-level concepts I wanted to cover in this video. And so if you want to get involved and learn more about what this DEX is, this QR code will take you to the developer documents and the specifications where you can read more about this. The code is on GitHub. Of course, we're going to mirror this on Radical as well, so that in case GitHub decides to censor us in the future, we'll have backups on Filecoin and the Radical network. But that link will take you to this DevDocs directory, where the developer documentation as well as the specification where you can read more about this. We also have some chat rooms set up, so these QR codes have these links in them. So we have a Telegram chat room, and then we have a Gitter chat room. Gitter is a chat. There's another social media thing called Gitter. That's not what I'm talking about. This is a chat room for software developers. It's been around for a number of years, and it's basically an extension of GitHub. So we have these two different chat rooms. This one you can just access from a web browser. This one's Telegram, so it requires the Telegram app or some other way of getting access to Telegram, and they're bridged. So anything that somebody puts in one will show up in the other. And so yeah, we encourage you to join the chat room, read the docs. If you're a developer, a JavaScript developer, please come and join us and help us hack on this thing and create freedom for permissionlessly trading value around the world.